in
Just
tangent
like
with
your
that.
thoughts on evolution. If we're in a sort of
Okay.
computer hologram or something, how do you explain evolution? This has just been on my mind a lot lately.
Yeah, just to understand it, I think that the closest that we're getting to it right now, because we're actually at the point where artificial intelligence is meeting metaphysics. Okay, so and that's actually the close of any society, any system, and then the new system opens again. Um, so do me a favor, just give me the question one more time. I mean, it's
Just like, what are your thoughts on evolution? If we're in a sort of
okay.
like computer
So understanding
program.
deep thinking, and that's what I meant to say. So understanding deep thinking, what deep thinking is it's when the computer starts to learn how to adapt to what's going to happen next. And our bodies and all many of the organisms that are actually on the planet, like we see a lot of them, they actually have that installed as their firmware. It's like in our instinct. It's actually a part of the core of this planet, which we would say is our mother. And so what happens is that there's this evolution process that actually goes on within every organism, and that evolution is based on its awareness of itself. So for us, a big part of our evolution is actually what's happening right now with the wake up call, because it's got to come in some way or another. A lot of people are waking up to that. Okay, this is not, completely the reality, and all these different things. All that's a part of the evolution. None of that can be pushed under the carpet. However, what we would still have to look at though is that evolution. It's a very interesting thing because that's like saying that your ancestors are in the past. Now
Mm.
let me clear up the mind a little bit on this. So for us, our ancestors are actually in the past, and we refer to our ancestors like dead people. But the truth is, when you understand the level that the ancestors were on, just as far as their perfection, they're actually not in the past. They're in the future because their vibration is actually higher and more balanced than we are. See what I mean?
Mm.
So vibration
Mhm.
is what determines what's in the future and what's in the past. So if something's on a higher vibration, then it's in the future. If it's on a lower vibration, it's in the past. So the ancestors on a
Mm.
higher vibration. So we think that, okay, the ancestors in the past. So when we refer to them or when we think about them, we think backwards. And thus we never are able to really communicate with them. So in taking that in the same state of consciousness, we now bring that into the scope of the question about evolution. Now, how can we actually say that we're getting better or evolving if the direction that we're actually moving is more like de-evolving, meaning that we're kind of getting further and further away from the truth? We can only say
Mm.
that it's evolution if the person is coming closer to oneness. And the easiest way to put this, I've figured out, is we're doing a lot of work right now. We're all doing work and we're all getting ourselves in a better position because, there's been a lot that's gone on.
Yeah.
But in truth, if you say it from a sliding scale, let's say you have zero, then you have -1, -2, -3, and that goes in that direction. Then you have +1, and then that goes in that direction. Where a lot of people are is actually the -5, right? And when they learn something or when they gain a level, they go to -4 and they go to -3, but they're not in the positives yet. And this is the
Mm.
easiest way to kind of explain how evolution is working for us. We're learning a lot of things right now, so we're moving up through the negatives because we've had a lot of damage that's done to our DNA and a lot of damage that is done to our lineage. And, all that stuff has taken some damage. So when we're fixing those things, we're getting closer towards the positives. And then hopefully, eventually, soon, most people will begin to hit zero, and then they could start moving into the one, two, three, four. And what that is seeing the rewards of what, eating the right thing and what, allowing your mind to be clear and what all that stuff actually equals. So of course, in the, let's say in the negatives, a person could be doing a lot of things, fasting and cleansing and doing a lot of things to get out. And then they're not necessarily seeing the rewards of that right away. And they're like, man, you know what? I don't even feel like that this stuff is even working. And they're not realizing, well, it depends on how deep you kind of got yourself in. So obviously, we
Mm.
encourage those kind of people to just stick with it. But again, the evolution is. Here's another thing that I'll lend to that question. This is another thing that will really let you understand what's happening. Now, if you understand the distance between these celestial bodies, which now people have gone into believing that they don't actually exist, but if you understand the distance, what it at least says to you is that whatever could live there is either extremely primitive because of the time gap or extremely advanced. Only one or
Mm.
another. The probability of us going to one of these local planets, which is still very far away, I'll use this all as a concept, and finding people that are just like us and doing exactly what we're doing is it ain't gonna happen. Not it's just
Mm.
based on the distance. So this means that what then would an evolved being have to really say to a human from Earth right now?
Mm.
And then likewise, what would a very primitive being have to say, if anything, to a human from Earth? So what we realize then is that any kind of ideas like aliens,
Mm.
evolution, all these kind of things are so open-ended. I find that they're placed in the mind at times to keep us kind of going in this loop that never gets us to, hey, what do we need to do? Now, if the question is, how can we evolve? Right? So that's let's put it into another perspective. How can we evolve? How can I jump this thing up? Can I hack this thing? And the truth
Mm.
is, yes, that when you understand the principles of what we're really dealing with here, like ancestors are in the future, not in the past, pretty much every single thing that you're looking at in front of you on a spiritual level has actually been hijacked from some culture. And
Mm.
generally, the people who are the custodians of it now are saying they represent it, whether it's a symbol or whether it's an entire dogma, are not the original representatives. And that in most cases, the big game that just recently went on is that anything that looks like it has power or people can fear it, then the conquerors took that on as their sign and symbol. So we can even see this kind of stuff in symbols like the pyramid, symbols like the eye on top of the pyramid, these kind of things. All this stuff, this stuff comes from ancient cultures. But a group of people have taken that, and societies have taken that, and now represent it another kind of way, and have people thinking that, oh, that's what that means.
Mm.
So the truth is that evolution is getting the truth to what all that stuff means, going into your ancestry if you have to, going into your inner being if you have to pull out and to extract what you truly are. And
Mm.
that's going to bring about the evolutions, because to me that's happening because for me because my dreams, I can't even call them that anymore. Like I slide into other realities. I might be in a reality that's running just like this one, and I can't even feel, in a sense, to feeling the difference between that I'm here and there. You could see different changes in the reality. Maybe people are wearing more futuristic clothes. Some people are just everyone's wearing all the same thing. All those different things. But and this is showing you where the mind, like what the mind is capable of doing, what the spirit is capable of doing. And so I personally, I still go on journeys. Like I do a lot of, nailing a lot of this down, because I found that there's a lot of power in crystals.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot in geometry. Crystals have a geometric shape to them. There's a lot in lasers. So we take then a lot of this, what's seen as ancient technology, and start to really, really apply it in modern times, because that's what's going to allow us to evolve, because that stuff is actually coming from the future and not the past. So, I think that that's the best explanation of understanding the whole evolution process and how you can make it central to what you're experiencing now versus kind of imagining that the earth on a collective level is going to evolve into something greater. Because there's evolution and there's de-evolution, right? So
Mhm.
that's 100% what I feel is going on.